Hey everybody, getting back to doing some bike building. I've been on the bench porting heads and boring cylinders and going crazy for the last month, so this is one of the complete builds that we just finished. This one's for Glenn Douglas. This bike originally was a 103 stock back in the day when I worked at the dealership. I ended up porting a set of heads for Glenn, and the dealership put a set of 585s in it for him. So we basically put a tune into it back then, and that's all you could get. But when I opened up the shop, Glenn's a buddy of mine, so he brought the bike down here. We ended up tuning it and doing a bunch more stuff to it to make it faster. We ended up getting about 115 horse and 117 foot-pounds of torque out of a 103. Glenn drove it like that for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and like everything else, it's boring. So he wanted to go a little faster. So what we ended up doing was we took the 103 jugs off of it. I slid a set of the new 110 drop-in cylinders and bumped the compression to 10 to 1. And then the ported heads, the 103 heads that we had on it, just aren't enough for 110 cubic inch. You know, you're sort of limited. So I took his 103 heads on trade, and I had a set of Screaming Eagle 110 heads, so I ended up porting them. And Glenn likes compression, so I took 50 thou off the top of the head, and now we're running 11.5 to 1, and still with the 585 cams. And the 2-to-1 Vance and Hines radius pipe that he's got on there, we did some modifications to it back in the day, but I felt it was going to be restricting. So I opened up, I took the muffler apart and I gutted it. So the only thing there is the outer baffle. All the packing and all the protrusions that would limit it, we ended up getting rid of that. So this one here is for Glenn Douglas, and I know for a fact we'll be over 115 horse with it, but we got to get some miles on it, get her tuned. I know when I first gave it a first little crank over, it was missing, so the heads are really flowing compared to the other heads, so we'll have to do some mapping on it and break it in on the dyno. So this one here is first startup for Glenn. Noisier now, Glenn. But the motor, like everything else around here, is nice and quiet. You hear a little bit of rattling. It's the lift table right here is shaking. So this one's got a little bit of thump to her.